All right, so today we're gonna take a deep dive
Okay.
into this video I saw called "Want to Get Rich? Don't Be an Entrepreneur."
Oh, wow.
Kind of a head turner, huh?
Yeah. That's, well, it's definitely eye-catching.
Not the usual like rah rah follow your dreams kind of thing.
Right. It's more like, hey, think twice, kind of.
Exactly. So the guy in the video, he's actually a multi-millionaire businessman,
Okay.
and he's sharing, what he's learned. But it's not all sunshine and roses.
I can imagine.
He really breaks down the realities of trying to make it in the business world. And he starts with this idea of kill your delusion.
Ooh, that's kind of dark.
Well, yeah, a little bit, right. But I think what he's getting at is this myth
Yeah.
that to be successful, you just need like one killer idea.
Right, right. Like, you just got to strike gold with the perfect concept and then...
And then the money just rolls in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're set for life.
Yeah. But is it really that simple?
I mean, if it were, we'd all be millionaires by now, wouldn't we?
Right. So what's he really saying with this whole kill your delusion thing?
Well, you see all these headlines, how I made $1 million in 30 days and all that jazz.
Yeah.
It creates this false expectation that success is just around the corner, that it's easy and guaranteed.
Yeah.
But the reality is far more complex. There are going to be setbacks, challenges, even failures along the way. And a lot of these media outlets and gurus, they actually make money by perpetuating that myth.
It's like they're selling us a fantasy, but not the tools to actually achieve it.
Exactly. They prey on that desire for a quick fix. But this businessman, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He even shares a story about how early on a friend stole his business idea.
Wow, it's gotta hurt.
Absolutely. But instead of letting that defeat him, he used it as fuel. He adapted. He came up with a new strategy, and he persevered.
So it's not just about the idea. It's about the resilience to keep going even when things get tough.
Exactly. And, even if you look at those shows like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, where they have all those successful investors, a lot of those businesses end up failing anyway.
Right. Even with all the resources and backing.
It just goes to show that success is never a guarantee.
Okay, so takeaway number one, don't expect it to be easy. Be prepared for the long haul, and don't be afraid to fail, because every failure is a learning opportunity.
Well said.
Now, on to his next point. And this one is a little bit, well, let's just say it raised some eyebrows. He calls it replace your friends.
Whoa, hold on. Is he serious?
Now, before you go thinking he's saying to ditch everyone, let's dig a little deeper.
Okay, yeah, because that sounds a little extreme.
It does, right? But what he's really getting at is this idea that as you grow as an entrepreneur, some of your relationships might naturally shift.
So it's more about recognizing that your priorities might change.
And your social circle might need to evolve along with them.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
He talks about how when he was building his business, he was working all the time, totally consumed by it.
Right.
And he ended up losing touch with some of his friends who just couldn't relate to what he was going through.
Yeah, I can see that happening. It's like you're on such a different path.
And it could be pretty isolating,
Yeah.
Remember that study that said nearly half of Americans feel lonely?
Yeah.
I bet that number is even higher for entrepreneurs who are often working by themselves and facing these unique challenges.
Absolutely. So what he's really saying is to find your tribe, find people who get it,
People who are also on the entrepreneurial journey.
Yes. People who understand the struggles and the triumphs.
And who can support you along the way. So it's not about ditching your friends. It's about surrounding yourself with the right kind of energy.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
And speaking of support, he also talks about the importance of finding a good co-founder.
Oh, yeah. Someone to share the load with.
Exactly. Somebody who's in the trenches with you, someone you could bounce ideas off of.
And someone who can pick you up when you're down.
Right. But he emphasizes that you have to choose your co-founder carefully. It's not just about finding someone with complementary skills.
Right.
It's about finding someone you can actually work with day in and day out.
It's like a marriage almost.
It is. So
Yeah.
compatibility is crucial, especially during those stressful times.
Mm.
And if you're struggling to find that perfect co-founder in your immediate circle, he suggests joining online communities like his own Discord server, Strike It Big,
Oh, cool.
where you can connect with other entrepreneurs and build those relationships. So we've got kill your delusion and replace your friends. Now, I'm kind of curious and a little nervous to see what he means by rethink money.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
Does he mean we should all become Bitcoin billionaires or something?
Well, Not quite that literal, but it does involve a pretty significant shift in perspective, especially for those who maybe have a more traditional view of money. He tells this really interesting story about his friend Daniel Priestley, who was a salesman struggling to close those big, high-ticket deals.
Interesting. What was holding him back?
Well, turns out Daniel was super uncomfortable talking about large sums of money. Like, money held too much weight for him, it was a source of anxiety.
Oh, I can relate to that. Sometimes I get a little nervous just talking about my own finances.
Right. We're kind of conditioned to see money as this limited, precious resource, and that can really hold us back in business where you have to be willing to take risks and invest.
So how did Daniel get past that mental block?
His mentor gave him some pretty unconventional advice, told him to carry $1,000 in cash everywhere he went.
Wait, what? Wouldn't that make him even more worried about losing it?
You'd think so, right? But the idea is that by constantly having that much money on him, it starts to feel less significant. It's like the
Ugh.
psychological weight of that amount decreases, and it becomes just another tool, you know?
So by being exposed to it all the time, it becomes less scary, less intimidating.
Exactly. And that's the kind of mindset shift he wants entrepreneurs to make. Don't see money as this scarce thing to cling to. See it as a tool to build wealth, to make things happen.
Instead of fearing it, use it.
Exactly. And that can be really liberating because it allows you to take risks and invest in opportunities that might have seemed too scary before.
So it's not about obsessing over every dollar. It's about using money strategically to reach your goals.
Exactly. And that's where the next step comes in, maximize efficiency. It's all about making the most of the resources you have, no matter how big or small your budget might be.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Mm.
Let's hear more about maximizing efficiency. Okay, so maximizing efficiency. So what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's about working smarter, not harder. You know, he actually mentions that 72% of small business owners say they struggle with feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think a big part of that is trying to do everything themselves, not putting systems in place to delegate tasks or automate things.
It's that whole if you want it done right, do it yourself mentality.
Right. But that can lead to serious burnout. He even talks about how there's no such thing as a laid-back boss. As an entrepreneur, you're always on in some way.
Oh yeah, your mind's always going, even when you're supposed to be relaxing.
Exactly. So that's where systems and processes come in. It's about having a structure in place that allows your business to run smoothly, even when you're not directly involved in every single task.
So it's kind of like building a machine that can run on autopilot to some degree.
That's a great way to put it. It's like creating a manual for your business. You know, so if you suddenly had to take a vacation or if a key employee left,
Yeah, right.
everything would still keep ticking along.
Makes sense. So what kind of systems are we talking about here? Can you give some examples?
Sure. Let's say you're spending way too much time on admin stuff, like scheduling appointments or sending invoices or managing social media.
Yeah,
There are tons of tools and software out there that can automate those things for you.
that would be amazing. But that stuff can get expensive, right? Especially when you're first starting out.
Well, the good news is a lot of these tools are actually pretty affordable these days. And in the long run, they can save you so much time and hassle.
Yeah, and reduce the risk of errors too, right?
Exactly. Because let's face it, when you're trying to juggle a million things manually, mistakes are bound to happen.
So it's not just about saving time. It's about improving accuracy and efficiency overall.
Precisely. And here's another thing to consider. If you ever want to sell your business down the line,
Okay.
having well-defined systems and processes makes it way more attractive to potential buyers.
It's like the difference between buying a house that's been meticulously maintained versus one that's falling apart.
Exactly. Buyers are going to be more willing to pay a premium for a business that's already got a solid structure in place.
Makes sense. So we've covered kill your delusion, replace your friends, rethink money, and maximize efficiency. Now on to the final principle, which she calls become a wolf.
This one is all about building a strong team to support your vision.
I like that. It's like having a pack, a group of individuals with different strengths working together towards a common goal.
That's the idea. He talks about how in the beginning, he was reluctant to hire anyone. He thought he had to do everything himself.
It's that control thing. It's hard to let go sometimes.
Yeah, I get it. But eventually he realized that trying to do everything on his own was actually holding him back.
Oh, I see.
He wasn't able to grow and scale his business because he was spreading himself too thin.
So it's about recognizing when you need help and then bringing in the right people to support you.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. He challenges this common advice that you should hire people who are just like you.
Really? Oh, is that?
He argues that if everyone's thinking the same way, you're going to miss out on diverse perspectives and creativity.
Oh, see, it's like if you have 10 people in a room and they all agree with each other, you're probably not going to come up with anything groundbreaking.
Exactly. You need that friction, that difference of opinion to spark new ideas and innovation.
So it's about embracing those different viewpoints, even if they challenge your own.
Exactly. He says the real key is to find people who excel in areas where you're weaker.
So it's like filling in the gaps in your own skill set with people who have complementary strengths.
It's about building a team that's truly greater than the sum of its parts. So instead of trying to create a pack of clones,
Yeah.
you're creating a pack of wolves, each
Huh.
with its own unique hunting style and abilities.
Love it. But how do you actually find these people, especially if you're not naturally a people person?
Well, that's a great question, and something we'll dive into right after this.
Man, this guy doesn't pull any punches, does he?
Yeah.
This whole want to get rich, don't be an entrepreneur video is really making me think.
Yeah, he's definitely got a different perspective, doesn't he?
It's refreshing, though.
Okay.
So much of what we hear about entrepreneurship is all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, all about following your passion and the money will come.
But he's like, hold up. It's not that simple.
He's definitely grounding us in reality,
Yeah.
and I think that's super valuable.
It is. It's like he's giving us a dose of tough love, but in a way that's actually helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Like a mentor who's been there and done that and wants to spare you some of the pain.
It all goes back to that first point, right? Kill your delusion. Don't go into this thinking it's going to be easy.
Absolutely. There are going to be challenges, setbacks, probably even some failures along the way.
And that's why it's so important to have that strong support system in place, like he was saying with replace your friends,
Right. Find your tribe, the people who get it,
who understand what you're going through.
and who can offer support and encouragement when you need it most.
Whether it's a co-founder, a mentor, or just some close friends who understand the entrepreneurial grind,
Having that network can make all the difference.
for sure. And then there's that whole rethink money thing. I mean, that's been a game changer for me.
It's powerful stuff, right?
Yeah,
It's amazing how much our mindset about money can hold us back.
totally.
Yeah.
Like that story about Daniel Priestley carrying around $1,000. It's wild how just being exposed to that much cash can shift your perspective.
It's about breaking down those mental barriers that make us see money as this scarce and scary thing.
Instead of a tool that we can use to achieve our goals.
Exactly. Once you start viewing money as a resource, it opens up so many possibilities.
It's about moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset,
Yes. Believing that there's enough out there for everyone.
and that you can create the wealth you desire.
But of course, it's not just about having the right mindset. You also need to be smart about how you manage your resources. Which brings us to maximize efficiency.
Right, putting those systems and processes in place so you're not constantly running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Creating that manual for
Right.
your business so everything runs smoothly.
Even when you're not there to micromanage every detail.
It's about empowering your team, delegating tasks, and automating processes.
So you can focus on the bigger picture, the strategic vision for your business.
And ultimately create a business that's sustainable and scalable.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that a well-run business is also much more attractive to potential investors or buyers,
It shows that you've got a solid foundation in place.
and that you're thinking long-term.
Exactly. So we've got kill your delusion, replace your friends, rethink money, maximize efficiency, and last but not least, become a wolf.
Ah, yes. Building that strong team.
It's such a powerful analogy, isn't it? Creating a pack of individuals with diverse strengths working together.
He really emphasizes the importance of diversity of thought.
Finding people who excel in areas where you're weaker.
So you can complement each other's skills and create something truly remarkable.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to do it all alone.
That, in fact, you can achieve so much more when you surround yourself with the right people.
It makes you think, doesn't it? If you were building your own wolf pack, what kind of people would you want on your team?
What unique strengths and talents would you look for?
What would it take to create a team that's unstoppable? I'd love to hear what you're thinking.
Yeah. Head over to our social media and tell us all about your dream wolf pack. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.